Oh my God, do. Somebody please say it ain't so. I don't think nobody ever kept it real with Diddy like how Steve Harvey recently did.
Now you know it's got to have been magnified back then. So now you're just not a good person. You know, man, you can't run it like that because now you got to pay. And the thing about sin is, sin costs you more than you want to pay and it make you stay longer than you want to stay. And that's what he in now. And he had the power to do whatever you want to do, but just because you can do something don't mean you should. You got money. I have some money. But bruh, I take this money home. This ain't the time to spread it all over Dubai. No. That ain't how it work, man. And then you get to have this life that you have because you played within the rules. You were a decent guy. Chris Fade is a decent guy. It's no way you get to this level and you're not a decent guy. You're not mistake-free, but you're a decent guy. You know, you've asked God for forgiveness. You know, you've said I'm sorry to some people.
Yeah.
You've apologized. That's how you get through life. If you don't do that, man, you gotta go to prison.
Steve Harvey letting Diddy know, once you do the crime, you gotta do the time, and there's nothing he can do besides repent in order to get right.
I think you hit the nail on the head. As a man, when I see another man lay a hand on a woman, for me that is the lowest, because I feel like it's a reflection on us. We're men. We should never lay a hand on a woman.
Right.
Be it even verbally or physically, are both horrible. So when I saw that video as well, I've met Diddy before, and he came out to Dubai, and we kind of partied here, and very charismatic, a great guy. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And when it was all happening, and then when I saw that video like you did, that was when it was like, out.
You as a man looking at that video, you going, yo, hold up, man.
Yeah.
Because I know some real tough dudes.
Yeah.
I got some friends, man, that's been gangsters the whole time they've been alive. They old gangsters now. They saw that video and went, yo, man, he tripping.
Yep.
What's the matter with old boy right here? Steve, what's up with this dude? Hey man, we need to put some hands on him.
Did you ever have a relationship with him? Did you ever cross paths?
I mean, I knew him, yeah. But we've never been that type of dude. It was some things that I had heard about that kept me away from. You know, I got invited. Hey man, we throwing a party. Nah. See, you don't see me nowhere.
Smart.
You don't see me. My brand different. I'm not going to your party. I don't go to the white party, the blue party, the pink party, the panty party. I ain't at nobody's party. Steve Harvey going home. You can't take my picture if I'm at home.
Diddy may not have Steve Harvey on his side, but he still got Stevie J on his side.
You know what I'm saying? Because the last year has been quite a ride for me. The last year and a half, as you witness, I was the only one holding my homie down before he went to jail. And
who's your homie?
Diddy.
That's right.
Yeah, he stood by that man 10 toes down. If Diddy ain't have no friend, he had Stevie J. And that's
But that's how we do that. But that's how the guys do it.
That's a fact.
And after all of that, and after seeing who will really be truly in your corner and who's rocking with you and all that, man, I left a whole bunch of fake niggas alone and just started, just rocking with me and my family.
It's hard as stand next to somebody when they're going through something like that. So whatever the outcome is for Diddy and everything, like, salute to you as a man for being like, that's my homie. Like,
thank you.
I only know this version of him, so I can only respect and honor
talking
that.
about, the kids is this and all this and he raping this, all that stuff. Where did all of that go? Out the garbage. It went to, you know what I'm saying? To have billions of dollars and be able to stand on your own. The man don't like that. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're working for the man and you say, all right, I'm gonna go to Mexico and check my tequila out and to make sure they putting the agave in, but they're not putting agave, they putting all sugar in this joint. So he was like, yo, y'all putting sugar. So they don't want a black man sticking up for themselves. Whether it's on a level down here or a level down there, one must stick up for themselves.
For Steve Harvey to come out and say it's not looking like Diddy is getting out of jail anytime soon, let me know that he is a gatekeeper. He gotta be. pulling strings somehow, some way to have this prophecy about Diddy that didn't nobody know about until Steve Harvey said what he said.
I've tried to raise my son to at least be gentleman. Be a gentleman. Be fair. You know, don't talk to women that way. Treat women with kindness and respect. If you're that guy, you'll survive that area. Most of us do. And then if you're not that guy, you won't survive that area. He's in prison right now because you've been Puffy. You've been watching it. You turn into Puffy. If you don't respect it, you're going to do some time. You understand? And he was old enough to really get it together, but he didn't.
Why do you think that with Diddy? Is it because you're living a life where there are no boundaries? You get whatever you want whenever you want. You've done everything you possibly have, and there are no boundaries. So you just keep going further and further?
Yeah.
Is that why you think?
Yeah, you have to, like I said, you have to practice acts of kindness. You've got to be a gentleman through it all. I'm not saying, look, man, this dude's gonna have more than one chick. Okay, cool, I got that right there. But you don't have to be abusive with it and abrasive with it. And like, you know, Puffy was doing all this, but boy, let me tell you something, man. And he was getting away with a lot. But when that video came out,
the one in the hotel room, you mean?
Bro, that's like you sitting there going, wait a minute, hold on, man. What you doing? I mean, bro, for you to be a public figure, wrap a towel around yourself and run down a public hallway, not knowing who's at that elevator. It could have been other people at the elevator. But you go around there and there's no one at the elevator, and that's your reaction to this girl? Yo, bruh. So now, that's what we caught on tape. That's the one that's on tape. That's the one that's out in the public in front of the elevator. My goodness, what's been going on when you ain't in front of the elevator?
The craziest part about all of this to me is, even though Diddy apologized, it went in one ear and out the other. He know he did wrong. He know he messed up. But regardless, his apology wasn't hitting on nothing.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. But sometimes you got to do that. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. Going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
A lot of people believe the real reason why Steve Harvey is speaking out on Diddy is because once upon a time, Diddy was planning on taking him down with him, with T.D. Jakes and a whole bunch of other people.
Hey, don't let this segment mess our marriage up. I can't really tell you what's wrong with kids, but I can tell you what the hell wrong with parents.
In a dimly lit federal courtroom where silence hung heavy and the only sound was the scratch of pens and the occasional gasp, something unthinkable happened. Behind closed doors, in the shadow of what should have been the end of Sean Diddy Combs' empire, a deal was struck, one that could change everything. Insiders close to the case are now whispering that Diddy, facing a possible 20-year sentence for prostitution-related charges, offered up more than apologies and defense strategy. He handed the FBI a name, a big one, Steve Harvey.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers describe the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious sex trafficking charges in a New York court.
The betrayal, if true, isn't just career-ending, it's a seismic event, the kind of move that shakes the foundations of Hollywood power, exposing the dark current beneath the glittering surface. Diddy's legal team, riding high after he dodged the most devastating charges, racketeering, trafficking, forced coercion, has been unusually quiet since the verdict. But one thing is clear. His bail denial didn't stop him from negotiating behind bars. And what he allegedly gave in exchange? Evidence, files, recordings, maybe even direct testimony, all of it pointing to a man who has long projected family values and wholesome wisdom on syndicated television. Steve Harvey, the Family Feud patriarch, the self-styled relationship guru, the king of morning talk radio, and possibly the secret general of Hollywood's invisible empire. Law enforcement insiders suggest that the FBI is preparing for a move against Harvey, one that could come as early as Diddy's sentencing hearing this fall. The arrest is rumored to target Harvey as a central node in a far-reaching network of coercion, control, and cover-ups in the entertainment industry. If Diddy's files truly exist, they reportedly connect Harvey to years of hush operations, intimidation tactics, and elite-level manipulation involving some of the biggest names in music, film, and television. A web so vast it's been compared internally to a celebrity syndicate. A system of power so thick with silence and protection that it took federal pressure and Combs' desperation to finally crack it open. So now we ask, was Diddy's betrayal of Steve Harvey just a move for mercy? Or is there something deeper at play here, something older, colder, and far more personal? Because make no mistake, this isn't just about cutting a deal. This is about leverage, about settling scores, and perhaps, just perhaps, about revenge. There's one theory gaining traction that takes this from scandal into psychological warfare. Diddy's alleged past with Lori Harvey, Steve's stepdaughter, is more than just a headline from 2019. At the time, photos of the two together, laughing in Italy, vacationing in Cabo, even dining with the Harvey family, sent shockwaves through social media. But what if it wasn't a fling? What if it wasn't even about Lori?
I'm so protective of her because I know what she up against.
What if that romance was a mission? Multiple sources have quietly speculated that Diddy's involvement with Lori may have served as an entry point into Steve Harvey's inner circle. Some even call it an infiltration. After all, who else could get that close to a fiercely guarded family? Lori, then in her early 20s, was seen as rising star material. Diddy, decades her senior, was dealing with the grief of losing Kim Porter and clinging to what insiders described as emotional anchors. But with what we know now about the tapes, the files, and the timing, some are starting to wonder whether that entire relationship was a smokescreen. Was Diddy gathering information on Steve the whole time? Were those cozy dinners and paparazzi strolls actually reconnaissance? And let's not forget, Diddy and Steve weren't strangers. Their friendship dates back at least 2 decades, built on shared industry clout and power dinners in Beverly Hills. But since the trial began, Harvey has been conspicuously absent from public comments.
He wasn't nowhere to be found when the trial was going down. He ain't have nothing to say when Diddy was in court, but now that he's been in jail for a while, now Steve Harvey is talking.
Not a word of support, not a quote, not even a vague prayers for the family moment, just radio silence. That's not normal for a man who once boasted about mentoring the same celebrity who might now be trying to bury him. Behind that silence, according to those familiar with the investigation, is panic. Because what Diddy gave up wasn't just names, it was logistics, venues, staff rosters, flight records. And in those details lies the possibility that Harvey wasn't just aware of the dark underbelly of celebrity parties. He might have been helping manage it. Sources from the legal side say the investigation into Harvey now spans back nearly 10 years, tracing connections to talent agencies, sponsorship contracts, and private events that were allegedly used as fronts for behavior the public would never tolerate. Diddy's alleged freak-offs might have seemed grotesque, but if Harvey's involved, the scope and intent could be on another level.
Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
Even more chilling, there's chatter that some of the same security personnel who protected Diddy during his heyday later worked for Harvey's television productions. One ex-bodyguard has reportedly turned state's witness. That alone suggests a dangerous overlap. Shared resources, shared secrets, shared liability. And the conspiracy only deepens when you bring in the quieter names, handlers, assistants, drivers, who've started to speak now that the spotlight isn't just on Diddy anymore. One claim even alleges that Harvey's media empire may have been used to launder narratives, silencing accusers by discrediting them on his radio shows or offering financial settlements behind the scenes. The most disturbing aspect? According to 3 separate individuals who claim to have worked in Harvey's orbit during the mid-2010s, there were internal protocols for scandals before they happen. Allegedly, that included strategies to neutralize potential lawsuits, rebrand controversial behavior, and pre-select sympathetic journalists for soft coverage. One former employee described it as a crisis PR machine that never turned off. Like, they always expected something to go wrong. Now, we're starting to understand why.
They were referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil Astroglide.
And then there's Marjorie Harvey, the wife, the matriarch, the one who recently slammed the internet's obsession with rumors of her alleged affair with a bodyguard and personal chef. While Marjorie called the gossip lies and foolishness, she also leaned heavily on Bible quotes and spiritual language, often a signal, some argue, that real heat is coming, and lawyers have advised against specifics. But what if the rumors about Marjorie were more than marital drama? What if they were distractions, planted ahead of something bigger, something that would make a cheating scandal seem quaint?
Man, Marjorie, the thing that Marjorie's not telling you all.
Telling everybody's
Yes,
business? Okay, now don't let me start telling Steve's business.
We can't ignore the smoke surrounding Harvey's previous relationships either. His ex-wife, Mary, accused him of perjury, emotional torture, and even spiritual annihilation. Yes, that's the phrase in the legal documents. Her lawsuit may have been dismissed, but not before painting a portrait of a man who could allegedly orchestrate chaos behind the scenes while maintaining a charming public image. Now, with the FBI circling and Diddy's plea deal hovering over everything, we're left staring at a battlefield of former allies, false smiles, and decades of secrets. And right in the middle of it, a woman named Lori. The model, the influencer, the daughter, yes, but also the bridge. Was she simply caught in the storm, or was she used? Did Diddy's interest in her start with genuine emotion, or was it just the first move in a long, quiet revenge? Or even worse, was it strategic? And if it was, how deep does this betrayal go?
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, like, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
And that's exactly what's keeping Hollywood's inner circle awake at night. Diddy's alleged deal with the FBI hasn't just betrayed Steve Harvey, it's detonated a panic bomb across the entire entertainment industry. Whispers are bouncing from studio lots to private yachts. Who's next, behind those staged smiles and filtered selfies? A-listers are scrambling. High-profile managers have suddenly canceled appearances, hastily locking their clients into off-grid vacations. A well-known late-night host reportedly skipped 2 tapings this week, citing exhaustion, though insiders claim it was really a frantic damage control meeting with his legal team. Even a major streaming platform quietly postponed a documentary project linked to a famous family we won't name. Yet something is happening behind the curtain, and it's not just fear, it's survival mode. A cryptic Instagram post from a Grammy-winning singer, "When the masks come off, some faces won't survive the light," sent fans into a frenzy, especially after she unfollowed several artists tied to both Diddy and Harvey. And let's not forget the sudden exodus from certain Hollywood PR firms. 3 major celebrities allegedly dropped their publicists in the same 48-hour span. One former road manager put it bluntly in an anonymous tip: "The dominoes are already falling. Everyone's got something to lose. Everyone's praying their name isn't on that flash drive."
It was like, wow, for Diddy? What? That was a person that I looked up to. He was a mogul. And I listened to all the artists that he made superstars. And so to have a chance to be able to be signed to him, it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, I'm here. I finally did it.
That flash drive, according to sources close to the federal probe, is part of what Diddy turned over to prosecutors. It allegedly includes encrypted files, call logs, hotel records, and surveillance footage spanning more than a decade. And if the leaks are even half true, it's not just Steve Harvey who should be sweating. Multiple industry veterans insist that the material connects a constellation of powerful figures. Some who've built empires on family-friendly branding, others who were already circling controversy. It's the unmasking of a generation, one entertainment lawyer warned. You won't look at your favorite celebrities the same way ever again.
Now that is a fact. I can't look at none of these guys the same ever again because I know that they all attended those parties, even though they try to deny it. We seen them on video. We seen pictures of them showing up to the party. And I don't think nothing's wrong with partying, but what was happening behind closed doors that they're not willing to talk about at those parties? What was they doing over there on Epstein Island? What does it take to get in front of that camera so you can be on national television? What were they all into? That's the bigger question, because it's looking like they all had to participate in some madness in order to get to where they are.
Which brings us back to Steve Harvey, the man who built a fortune telling people how to live, write, love better, and rise above. And yet, here we are. watching the scaffolding crack around him. Harvey's squeaky clean persona is starting to feel like a set piece, carefully propped up, overly polished, and now buckling under pressure. The rumors of intimidation, secret buyouts, and dark connections weren't taken seriously for years. Why? Because the man in the suit told us how to act like ladies and think like men, because he sold redemption. But if the files are accurate, Harvey wasn't just aware of the industry's darker patterns. He may have played a part in maintaining them.
Of coming forward, they've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
His empire, radio, television, motivational tours, even his clothing line, was built on trust, and now that trust is dissolving. Sponsors are watching, syndication deals are reportedly under review. Internal sources at a major network say execs have already had what-if conversations about pulling his shows from international markets if criminal charges land. The ripple effect could be devastating. And fans? They're reeling, because Steve Harvey wasn't just a celebrity, he was a symbol. He was the father figure of daytime TV, the man who made mistakes and supposedly learned from them. But what if it was all just a mask, held in place by power and silence? His defenders are growing quieter. The usual flood of celebrity solidarity has dried up. No TikTok tributes, no hashtag campaigns, just awkward pauses and unreturned calls. Even Marjorie Harvey's recent Bible verse posts feel more like signals of a fortress under siege than signs of spiritual calm. And for every cryptic denial, more questions surface. Did Steve know what Diddy was doing all those years? Were the lavish parties, the coordinated vacations, the private jets, a stage for something much darker? And if he knew, did he stay silent to protect his legacy?
He cornered me. And then he asked me, with his arm up, he asked me, "How you doing?" I'm kind of like, wow, this is what the heck? Very uncomfortable. And then he rubbed his hand down my breast. He said, "If you need anything at all, you let me know."
That legacy now teeters on the brink. According to a former assistant who worked with Harvey in the early 2010s, it was all about control. Image was everything. Nothing happened unless Steve approved it, especially when it came to his brand. Another former employee described the team around him as loyal to a fault, trained to deny, deflect, and discredit. But that fortress of loyalty is showing cracks. People are speaking, lawyers are listening, and if even a portion of Diddy's files become public, we could be looking at the collapse of one of Hollywood's most carefully protected empires. What we're witnessing now isn't just a legal firestorm. It's a psychological unraveling. Within the upper echelons of Hollywood, where secrets are currency and reputation is everything, the alleged betrayal by Diddy has triggered something primal. Trust, already scarce in those circles, is disintegrating by the hour. Powerful figures who once toasted each other at private estate parties and posed together on red carpets are suddenly cutting off communication. Even longtime collaborators are scrubbing old photos, disabling comments, or retreating entirely from public view, not out of guilt necessarily, but out of fear, because in this game, it's not about who's guilty, it's about who gets exposed first. Behind the scenes, agents and lawyers are reportedly racing to negotiate immunity deals, ND ads are being shredded or contested, and investigators are receiving a steady drip of new tips, some of which, insiders say, are coming from within Hollywood itself. It's a chilling shift in the hierarchy. Loyalty has been replaced by leverage. Celebrities who once moved in coordinated silence are now being pushed into corners, watching their former allies hand over names and details to save themselves. The rules have changed. It's no longer about preserving a legacy. It's about surviving the fallout.
Look at Diddy, for instance. Let's take a look at him. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
The sense of paranoia is palpable. Sources from multiple talent agencies claim their top clients are refusing meetings without vetted legal witnesses present. Some are even traveling with digital signal blockers to avoid surveillance or location tracking. Alist friendships have turned into quiet standoffs, with each party wondering how much the other knows and whether they've already talked to federal investigators. It's a psychological thriller playing out in real time with real consequences. The fear isn't just about prosecution, it's about humiliation, public unmasking, the permanent destruction of the carefully crafted persona. The emotional toll is real, even if no one admits it. One entertainment consultant who works with celebrity crisis teams described it as internal exile, a mental state where stars isolate themselves preemptively, cutting ties not because they're guilty, but because they don't know who to trust. Therapists specializing in high-profile clientele are reportedly overwhelmed, not with confessions, but with anxiety spiraling into obsession. Who said what? Who saved texts? Who's watching now? And more importantly, should they flip first? In this climate, betrayal isn't a scandal. It's a survival tactic. If Diddy truly opened the door to this kind of unraveling, then Hollywood's elite now find themselves in a frantic rush, not to protect each other, but to outpace the inevitable. It's every star for themselves, and that means the next betrayal is always just one desperate phone call away.
So I'll tell you, I don't know how much, I don't like to say things that I know unless I see it. That there's a little difference, you know. But was it discussed? Was there descriptions from people I know that were at those? Yes, but here's another thing. So how many of these big entertainment parties and over the years and everything, with as successful as you are, have you been around? Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties, they did.
And let's not forget who made this all possible. Diddy. The man once celebrated as hip-hop royalty, now sitting behind bars awaiting sentencing, may be holding the keys to a truth the world isn't ready for. Some say he's making his final chess move, burning bridges to save himself. Others believe he's taking everyone down out of spite. But what happens if those files hit the courtroom? Or worse, the public? Could we see the fall of more media titans? The unraveling of decades-long reputations? Could daytime TV icons, Grammy-winning producers, and Oscar-winning actresses all be tangled in this same shadowy web? And how many of them thought they were too powerful to be touched?
I don't know this, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if you know. Listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
Because let's be clear, the scandal isn't just about Steve Harvey or Diddy or Lori. It's about a system that has protected the powerful and punished the silent. It's about image over integrity, loyalty over law, and the terrifying question, how deep does it go? And now we turn to you. If Diddy's evidence is real, if this whole machine of celebrity culture is about to implode, who do you think is next? Which name will drop before the smoke clears? And are you ready to face the truth about the stars you once trusted? Let us know what you believe in the comments below. And hold on tight.
Oh my God, that I do. I just don't know. Y'all gonna have to let me know how y'all feel about this in the comment section, yo. Best believe I'm gonna be down there reading. Do y'all feel like Diddy got what he deserved? Do y'all feel like Steve Harvey need to watch his mouth? What about what Stevie J had to say? If Diddy got a friend, they gotta be Stevie. So that's good to know regardless of what he got going on in his life. He got a true friend out there that's willing to hold him down. A lot of y'all can't say that, especially when you get in trouble. People have your back, way back. And for you beautiful ladies out there,
risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life to give you documentations, girl. I risk my life.